July 15th.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And there is no new public hearings. And the next one is continued public hearing for 321, 323 Manley Street.
And they have requested continued 8/19. It has gone out for 53G peer review. And the peer review, I did this afternoon get a review letter. So I will forward that off to the engineer to address the comments. There was a page and a half of them.
Which one was, what project is that again?
That was the one that had the disturbed wetlands in the back of it for a new warehouse manufacturing facility.
Oh, yes,
Up on
okay.
the far
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, yeah,
Which
yeah.
we've adjusted for the disturbance and come
Right.
up with an accurate wetland line. And, so
Excellent.
they pulled the building further away, closer to the pre-existing parking area. So they should be able to address all that.
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to continue.
I'll
to
make that motion.
8/19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And the next one is 58 South Street for,
And they have sent a formal request for withdrawal without prejudice, and they will plan on refiling at a future date. The subdivision plans for Bryant Street, the 12 lots, 12 lots that they're proposing. The engineering doesn't work, so they have to go back and look at whether there's an access road or something that has to go in off of South Street.
For any of the homes, is he still, he's got some of them that he can build, or is this the whole thing?
So we've got these two, the planning board permitted already.
Okay,
And one has wetlands on it, and one is just stormwater for this
Alright.
filing that he had done for us.
yeah,
But because it's tied in to Mr. Macy's development behind it, where this is the possible subdivision road to go in here
Okay.
instead of off of Bryant Street.
all right.
So they asked to withdraw so they can re-engineer it and get planning board approval.
Okay,
okay, so I entertain a motion to grant request to withdraw without prejudice.
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next one is 38 United Drive.
And so the next couple of items, we'll let Nate get in. Are for requests for minor project changes to pre-approved plans. So Nate, I believe you're up.
How you guys doing? Thank you.
Good.
Didn't realize it would be the first item on the agenda, so bear with me just one moment. And, get my,
And you should be able to share screens if anything, if you have anything you want to share with the commission.
sure, yep, and I do have a quick presentation, just to, I don't, not too much to report, but I will get things going for you here. Can you guys see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Good evening to all. For the record, although it's not a public hearing, my name is Nate Kirshner. I'm a senior project manager with Bowler Engineering. With me tonight, I have Dwayne Violet, who's a landscape architect with Bowler Engineering as well. We're here tonight to present a minor revision to the previously approved inland wetland permits for, and you can see the file numbers on here, for 38 and 40 United. The projects were, about a month ago, we put them in front of the planning board for a similar minor revision. Bowler has taken over. There's a new buyer for the property. I know you guys have seen this application, I think at least once, I believe actually twice, for an initial application and then a revision to that. I'll just follow through. Again, Nate Kirshner, Wayne Violet. I don't see our client. I know he was going to try to dial in Stuart Solderberg. He's the owner and applicant for Ajax Partners. He also owns 35 United, directly north of the site. When Bowler took over the project from the previous engineer, The project, went out bid. We looked at some of the construction things, some of the impacts, and then obviously we looked at the previous approvals related to the project, and tried to find some ways to make things a little more efficient, and also maintain the marketability for the client. Just to orient everybody, I think as again, everybody's familiar with the site. 35 United is the existing building. If you guys can see my cursor north of the property, the yellow hatched area is 40 United, and the red is approximately where 38 United will be. Again, just for orientation, you can see east of the property is Route 24, and then south of the entire development is West Center Street. So again, hopefully it kind of zeroes you in on where in the world we are. I know it's two separate applications, so I'm going to talk through 38 United first, and then as we get through that presentation, we'll pivot. Obviously, I won't redo introductions or anything like that, but we'll talk through the changes to 40 United. And again, it's from conversations with Tim, it's considered a minor modification, and just again to familiarize everybody. This is the level engineering drawing that was previously approved. It's a 130,000 square foot building. Employee parking north on this plan is to the left. Employee parking is plan is east or to the top of the page. And trailer spaces are to the west. Again, it's a 130,000 square foot industrial building. From a Conservation Commission perspective, wetlands surround pretty much the eastern and southern side of the property. They had previously, I believe, they had previously received an ANRAD. Obviously, the previous approvals had a limit of disturbance, and as we get into the design changes, one of the things that I just want to make sure we're very clear of is we were extremely sensitive to the limit of disturbance, and where we could, we pulled in from that previously approved limit of disturbance. There's one instance on both applications on the south side of the property where there's a minor increase, which I will talk through. But this plan to limit the limits of disturbance, there's several retaining walls. You can see them, they're the dark black lines running along the eastern side of the property, and there's also a retaining wall over on the southern side. And if people can't see my cursor or can't follow, just let me know. I can pull up a highlighter and highlight as I talk if that's easier. And then from a design change perspective, as I said, it's the same building, it's the same square footage, it's the same intent, it's the same use. What we did was we did a lot of additional geotechnical testing, both for stormwater design as well as for slope stability and retaining wall design. And you can see on this plan the gray hatch that kind of runs the perimeter of the property on the eastern side, and again, page up. And then the right hand side of the page was we were able to eliminate the retaining walls and put in a riprap slope. So it'll just be a stone slope. I believe it's a 2-to-1 slope. There was some reconfiguration of the employee parking lot on the top of the page, just to be a little more efficient with circulation and to kind of meet more prototypical layout design requirements. But again, you can see that this gray line here represents the previous limit of disturbance, and we haven't increased that anyway. The only deviation from that is on the south side of the building, which is the right-hand side of the page where my cursor is in order to make the slopes work, we are requesting relief of approximately 1,000 square feet from the 50-foot no-touch buffer. And we've had conversations with Tim regarding this. He provided some suggestions on how we could mitigate that impact, which Wayne will talk through on a plan further along the set. But other than that tweak in impact, everything else stays within the previous limit of disturbance. If I flip to the grading plan, this was the previously approved plan, which does do, I think, a better job of articulating where the proposed retaining walls were. Similarly, there was an underground detention system. There were a couple ponds. Ponds were on the bottom of the page. In the employee parking lot, on the top of the page, there was an underground detention system. Again, the geotech testing that was done found some higher groundwater in different spots. We did find some perched groundwater. But all that additional investigation required us to redo I guess, the entire stormwater design system, which is, and you can see we resized the system here. The ponds got a little bit tweaked in terms of their geometry and their depths. And then one important note, obviously, is as much as we want to retain for the increase in impervious area, we did manage the water budgets to ensure that water that was flowing to the wetlands continues to flow to the wetlands once it's been treated, just so that we're not, not only are we not flooding those systems, but we're also not drying them up. The town staff, as well as the peer review consultant, have reviewed the changes to the stormwater system, and they've signed off on that. And again, Tim's reviewed everything as well. Again, keeping things high level, I'm happy to take questions along the way, but with respect to the wetlands mitigation for that impact I mentioned on the south side of the page, I will hand it over to Wayne. Before I do that, just another comment which Wayne will speak to is in staff review, the two things that came up in my mind, specifically the Conservation Commission, were providing a more robust landscape plan, and then obviously providing a significant mitigation plan for the impact that we are requesting off that 50-foot buffer. And I think we've addressed both of those, but I'll defer to Wayne to talk you through this.
Great, thanks, Nate. So again, Wayne Violet, Bowler, project landscape architect. The sheet that you see on the screen is what we identify as the wetland mitigation plan. As we've been highlighting, there's approximately 1,000 square feet of impact to the 50-foot wetland buffer. As we're navigating back to it, I think we will navigate back to it, but that impact is comprised completely of pervious surface. It's not any impervious surface or building within that 50-foot buffer. It's all pervious surface. But what we had talked about as a project team is what's the most appropriate mitigation mechanism that we might consider for that edge along the wetland buffer. So our proposal for wetland mitigation is we identified as wetland buffer enhancement area. We have on this particular plan, we have about 800 linear feet along the southern edge of the limit of disturbance, which happens to coincide with, somewhat parallel where the wetland system is. So they got 800 linear feet along that clearing edge. We're proposing the buffer enhancement. That includes a installation of new buffer plantings, native trees, native shrubs. Some of the pictures on the bottom illustrate some of the plant material that we're either finding on the site or finding locally in the area that we think will do very, very well along that wetland edge. It's habitat creation, and potentially more importantly, as the site is cleared for construction purposes, that edge of mature native forest that remains along that southern border will be, somewhat or relatively unprotected, with new light coming into that corridor, with trees with green on top and kind of less understory below. So we've come up with this mitigation plan, which again really intends to be focused on that edge of development, where we're planting new native shrubs and trees along that edge. And again, some of the species are shown at the bottom. We've got viburnum and serviceberry and blueberry, all natives that you would expect to see in that wetland system along that edge. And we think that's going to really help protect that edge, especially with potential growth for invasives as you start to clear out the site. So that's just a little bit of a high level, our approach. We did look at other ideas for mitigation, but we think for this site and for the limited disturbance and areas that we're dealing with on the site, we think this was an appropriate mechanism to really approach mitigation and that impact of 1,000 square feet, all pervious area. And Nate, I don't know if the next slide is landscape. If it is, I could talk to that for a bit. As Nate had mentioned, one of the comments we've been working back and forth with town staff is to add additional robust landscaping to the site. We had a first attempt, which was great. We were able to add a lot of canopy trees, evergreen trees where they're needing to be. The site, other than, you know, some open clearing and an existing parking area that's there now, is a forested site. So what you see on the screen is about to be filed again, but it's an enhanced version of the last landscape plan that was provided, which is an additional 50% more trees than were previously proposed as part of the landscape plan. So again, more canopy trees. These are located with and around parking areas, within side yards, front yards, and then stormwater management areas. So on this particular site, 38 United Drive, we have about 60 trees that we're planting throughout those areas where they make sense for maintenance and where we can really add that canopy and shade for the site for these parking lots and loading areas. So just a quick high level of those plans, whether it's after we finish or at any point, if you have questions, landscape, civil site, feel free to stop us.
So the whole purpose of you changing from the retaining wall to the crushed stone is because of redesigning the stormwater?
So the removal of the retaining walls was twofold. I mean, candidly, there's a cost associated with building the retaining walls, but then as we dug, no pun intended, as we dug into the geotech report and looked into the soils, they were a lot better soils with respect to their stability. So, you know, some people throw up retaining walls candidly to be a little more conservative in terms of the design. You know, by doing the stone, it's a lower maintenance issue. It'll last longer. Again, by doing the wetlands buffer line, it provides a cleaner edge. So it's really a function of just really advancing the design and the investigations on the site that those walls were eliminated.
Okay, so you basically did it for money, cut back money.
I mean, there is a slight savings from the change from the walls to the slopes. However, the stone itself, I mean, there's a cost associated with that as well. So it's not like a net zero. You know, a net. Yeah, if it was $500,000 of the retaining walls, we didn't save $500,000. There's a slight savings going from the walls to the slopes. But candidly, I think if, you know, it's one of those chicken and the egg thing. If the investigations were done first, I don't think anybody would ever put in the retaining walls. If you go in and you haven't done all your geotech work, which I could argue both sides of the value of doing your geotech early on, you probably would have never shown the walls. Similarly, by changing out, you know, the additional geotechnical reports revealed a lot of information regarding the soils as well as the groundwater.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything bad. I'd rather see the stone, the crushed stone than the wall if it's possible.
And I will chime in here that after looking at this and realizing that it is in the ACEC, but Natural Heritage didn't come back with any mitigation or requirements, the stone will actually help make a turtle barrier almost around that entire south and east side of the property.
Because they'll try to get up there.
Right, I mean, they're not gonna naturally wanna go over that, they'll find another way.
Which is good. I'd rather see this than you know.
It's an unintended benefit.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That would work.
And that you're doing the plantings too that help out
Right.
big time. So
After you do these extensive plantings, which look really nice, and the ownership is conveyed to the new owner, there's a maintenance plan in there, I'm sure, that the new owner has to maintain to make sure that...
Right, they have to be established, and there's an establishment period that, depending on how long the project takes.
I mean, do they monitor it, or pretty much
Between the Conservation Commission and the owners of the site.
make sure things are taking...
That take root and that they get
Take root,
established.
Okay.
then after that, it's just let it go.
Right.
Yeah.
And the intent is eventually, once it's all established, it's a natural buffer zone and Mother
Yeah.
Nature takes it from there.
Right.
But it's the establishment period that gets, monitored.
Yeah.
Could the new owners cut them down?
No, it's in the 50 foot,
Yeah.
so,
Okay, so that's in.
right.
Okay.
Well, I think it's a net increase for sure, for 1,000 feet.
Big time,
The
yeah.
mitigations is
It's
very
definitely a
nice.
benefit, yeah. Well, that's good work on that.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. And obviously we do have a very similar slide deck with respect to 40 that I can walk you guys through. I don't know, you know, I can't really, because it's a minor modification, I don't know if there's a vote or if it's open discussion. I'd really defer to the chair and Tim, if you want me to continue on with 40 at this point.
Yeah, if you want to continue on with 40, we'll take a vote at the end for both of
For
them.
both, yeah.
Great, appreciate it. Jump into 40. Again, I'll skip over the high level stuff, but yeah, this was the previously approved plan. It's almost, it's somewhat a mirror image. Lot 38 obviously is page view north, so it's on the top of the page. This was the previously approved set of drawings. Similarly, you can see dark lines where there's retaining walls. This building's flipped in the sense that on the top of the page is your truck court, your loading docks. On the bottom of the page is your employee parking lots. Of significant note on this plan, the black dashed line represents that turtle protection area that was just being discussed, with the habitat being all the way at the bottom of the page with the higher quality, higher functioning wetlands over here. If you jump to our plan to make things a little even easier to see, we kept that same, obviously it's the same red line that was established by Natural Heritage. We similarly were able to remove some of the retaining walls. We are proposing a fence, both for security, but more importantly, I think on a site like this is to keep the turtles from being able to navigate their way onto the site. So it will be flush to the ground. We had conversations actually during a pre-application meeting regarding these changes about actually even possibly burying the first few inches of that fence to make sure that, you know, from an installation perspective, there's no gaps, allowing the turtles to climb under it in the employee parking lot, which we're happy to do that. And similar to the last plan, that you can see the gray hatch around the top of the page coming around. It's a little cut off by the chart here. I apologize. I think the next plan will show it better. That same stone slope, and then, you know, from a layout perspective, again, we didn't increase the limit of disturbance. However, in the exact same location of the building, now we have a similar 1,000 square feet of impacts to the 50-foot no touch. I'll flip to the grading plan momentarily. Just kind of wanted to talk through the circulation. But again, the limit of disturbance doesn't change with that minor exception there. And then just more for operations perspective, you know, there was a retaining wall along United Drive that we shifted some parking around on the site over to the bottom of the page from up here to make that work and give us a little bit, candidly, it was a little too tight to construct with the property line and the right-of-way line there. And, you know, we held the edge here. So from a layout perspective, it more or less matches what was done previously. We did change the geometry of the truck access drive, just so actually trucks could make that turning. This is the previous stormwater design. You can see they have an underground detention system here. And they have a pond in this location, as well as a pond at the front corner of the building. That loads. We eliminated the pond at the front of the building. Just our general mentality is you don't want pump water ponding by the building, and when you can't avoid it. So we were able to upsize this pond. We reworked the geometry of the stormwater system here, and then similarly this, you know, pipe network and stormwater feature, provides the water quality. Obviously, both, I didn't say it for 38, but both sites comply with, you know, Mass DEP stormwater, water quality and water quantity control measures. And similarly, we looked at water budgets to make sure we're not drying out the wetlands or flooding them. We're keeping flows consistent with what they're seeing today. I think that's really it on this site.
Is there a replication
I
plan on
think
this too?
I think I'm handing the mic back to
For the
Wayne.
disturbance?
It's a very similar story here as well.
Right.
There is a replication.
It's ironic, 1,000 feet on each, roughly,
Yeah.
in two different sites.
And honestly, I expected it to be different. And when we just, honestly, we held a, 2-to-1 slope. I can zoom and show you. And it worked out that way. The only thing you can put, you could possibly change on these things is the size of the building, but they're built in 50-foot increments.
Right.
So if we got luckier, what happened, but it ends up being exactly, you know, and we're rounding, I think it's like 979 square
It's
feet.
close enough.
But, for conversation's sake, we called them both 1,000.
Right.
Great, thanks, Nate. Yeah, I'll just run through it again, just very briefly, high level, and kind of one relatively decent change between 30 and 40. So same mitigation approach, taking a look at that edge of development. Again, we're clearing the site. That's going to open us up that kind of cleared tree limit edge to new light coming in, potential invasives really growth there. So we really wanted to focus on that area. Again, similar to 38. The one difference with 40 is the kind of the layout or the existing conditions and setup of the wetlands. So the wetlands, if you want to call it frontage to our site, was less on 40. So per our plan, we're actually showing 400 linear feet plus or minus of mitigation area proposed for this 40 site. So that's less than the 800 that was proposed on 38. And that's just, again, where the wetland buffer is, where the wetland system is. So again, similar approach, native plant material, trees, shrubs along that edge, really kind of anchoring that in. I'm glad someone mentioned it before. Yes, the really success rate on these rear plants, which are going to get forgotten pretty easily. The success rate is having a good maintenance plan, and then the establishment and checking in for the, really the first couple of years. We want to make sure invasives are staying out and those natives are kind of growing up and really kind of holding that edge. So that's a great point someone made. But the significant difference again with 40 is just based on the layout of the wetlands and the buffer. We're showing 400 linear feet planted with shrubs and trees for the proposed mitigation here. Other than that, the plant mix is the same, and kind of our approach to it, which makes sense that we're so close to each other, is the same on this site.
When you say, 800 and 400 linear feet, I picture it just going in a line. Is there any depth to what you're doing, or just a straight line of plantings?
Yeah, so great question, great point. I use the linear footage because I think it was just easier from a kind of picturing standpoint. But when you think of that cleared edge, that treed edge, the trees, which is great, natural, they're going to be in all different shapes and sizes, and how that cleared edge is going to be, irregular. We show it on the plan as a straight line, but that's going to be irregular. So for our purposes, to get our square footage of mitigation area, we factored at least 10 feet wide worth of mitigation area. So yeah, we would anticipate the plant material would be natural, staggered effect. There might be a few areas where there's a couple signature native trees that here's a cluster that we don't want to change or modify, and we're going to add more to there. So a lot of these plants are going to definitely be field located, and yeah, we're not envisioning a straight line. It's just for the purposes of kind of mitigation calculation. That's the zone that we're going to be targeting. But that edge, that cleared edge, we might have some beautiful kind of wolf oaks sticking up right on the corner, and we want to make sure we give them their place. So it won't be a straight line. We just use that really for the calculation. So there is some work there.
Great, thank you.
That looks good. I think it's gonna work out for all of us.
What kind of report do we require for the maintenance of and checking if they're growing from?
So what they'll end up with as part of the process is coming up with a maintenance plan for it over the course of the project. And so sometimes it's a yearly report, sometimes it's just a monitoring to go in and check, make sure that there's no invasives. But
Is
that'll
it
be
their choice or?
right, part of the planting plan, the mitigation.
Okay.
I don't have any other questions.
No, looks good. Everything's
I
good.
can comment that it has been reviewed by peer review for the stormwater already, and the planning board has already approved and reviewed it.
For the change.
For the changes that they had to deal with.
Okay. So for 38 and 40, I'll entertain a motion to grant a minor project change.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And I'll entertain a motion to issue a waiver to work in the 50.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All set. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you guys very much. Appreciate
Thanks,
your
guys.
your
Thank you.
time and also the flexibility to do this online, saving us time in the car.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next one is 25 and 27 West Street for a certificate of compliance.
So that was 2024, they redid a septic system behind. I've checked it, markers are in place, everything's vegetated, all the grass is up, everything's in compliance.
That's what we have here. Yeah.
We can close that one out and issue if you so wish.
Okay.
Okay. Entertain a motion to issue the certificate of compliance to 25, 27 West Street.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And the next one is 6 Crescent Street for an enforcement order, stormwater parking and grading changes.
I can give you some updated information. The certified letter was received on the 25th of July, signed for and accepted. Since the 25th, I've had both the engineer and the resident living at 6 Crescent Street contact me. They've come in to get the certified abutters list to send out notifications of a public hearing. They can't set a date for the public hearing until they get that certified abutters list
For the abutters, yeah.
from the assessor's office.
Okay.
That was done this week on Monday. Hopefully, if they can get it out this week, and the engineer will send them out as soon as he can. I've told them that I would waive the 2-week deadline before a meeting. If you can get them to me on Monday, I have time to do the public notification for the newspaper. So we can hold a public hearing on the 19th. It's really in the assessor's office now to get that certified list out so that they can do the mailing.
You think they would have done this way back, right?
Agreed. So if they can get it out, if not, it would be the September 2nd date. But they intend no later than September 2nd. They're gonna try to push to get, as soon as they can get the abutters list, and that's what.
Any way we can push them to get it for the next meeting? Because this has
I-
been going on for.
I'm gonna see the assessors tomorrow morning and ask them to try to expedite and get
Give
this
it
out
some
as soon as they can.
Priority, yeah.
Yeah, priority
Right.
for the next
If we
one.
can get that pushed, because that's really what's, normally it doesn't take that long to get them processed.
Mhm.
And I'd be willing to say that the homeowner would probably come and pick them up and get them delivered to the engineering firm,
Right. Right.
if they can get them done,
So
like tomorrow or the next day.
plans and everything, you got plans for this?
I have received an updated set of plans. They have a swale and they have roof drains. The plans were preliminary for my review. I did tell them that the amount of square footage on the plans doesn't match what was really disturbed. They sent me a draft copy of the general stormwater permit application as well, which has 15,500 square feet on it. Once the plans are updated to match that, then they'll have a set of plans to go forward with.
Which hopefully at the next meeting.
So, but they'll have all that with the abutters list and the whole package that has to be submitted,
Okay.
once they've got all this put together.
And then we'll see what changes will hopefully be done
Right, and then so once,
on that set of plans
right,
that needs to be done to change this whole water situation to get it fixed, right? I hope.
Yeah, what I was gonna ask the commission to do tonight is if you could vote to start the peer review before the public hearing would start, so that if I get on Monday or
Yeah.
Tuesday an application, we could send it out to have,
Speed it up, yeah.
to speed it up and have the process start.
Okay.
So that the outside review would have been already going.
Yeah.
So that we might be able to have a report back before the public hearing, before the public hearing.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So,
And so that would be my goal.
Yeah.
Part of the issue that I see is that we have a 30-day clock that we've been using for the violation notices. The clock on the third violation notice, he didn't receive it until the 25th. That's when the post office said they were able to deliver it. So the clock, even though the letter went out 10 days almost before that, it took that long for the post office to send me the certified receipt of delivery. They might have gotten it before that, I'm not sure, but I will say as soon as I know we received it, I had conversations and phone calls.
Does it
So I'm
have,
thinking the 25th was,
does it have a date on it when it was done
Attempted.
up? Because even though he might have gotten it late, if that date is on there, there should have been.
right, the date that I wrote the letter was the 17th.
Okay, so I'm,
So the 17th
so it's,
was when we officially put
It's like a
notification.
week.
so I
But
think
we
we
also
should,
have to, like, he didn't receive it, so he didn't know he was in violation of the third one until the 25th. When he
for the,
actually.
but he knew he was in violation.
Oh, the first one is already ongoing.
Yeah,
The
so he
third
knew
one-
there was another one coming up,
So the third one, he is,
right?
right, required,
So
that's when
I-
he responded right away. So but I'm just saying that we've still got one more step in the process, and by the 19th, the time frame and the dates will have.
So it has to be
So
signed.
the third violation notice would have been notified long enough so that if he has the abutters notice, there's no reason why the 19th won't work. So that he could theoretically come in with an application and start a formal hearing. I mean, it doesn't mean that the fines and anything has disappeared or
What
stopped.
are
I
they
mean,
at?
it's still gotta
It
be
just
going
means we have
on.
the 30-day window that we give for them to react or before we move forward with anything else.
I still think it should be held on the 17th, whether he got it or not,
Which
because it was
you
ongoing.
could use the 17th or use the 19th as the date that,
What does the law say about when the meter starts? When they attempt delivery or sign?
But
when
it-
they receive notice.
But it's been going on.
Right,
So
the first
it's
one is
ahead.
ongoing,
Yeah.
but we have to give them 3 notifications. One's the warning and then 2 letters of
So
violation.
by law, it has to be when he receives it.
Right.
Guess we
I
have no choice.
mean, I was looking at some other legal issues with regard
And I mean,
to our place, and it's
and they are,
the date that it attempted delivery
Yeah,
starts.
no.
Yeah, so this is different, yeah.
right, and so, and by right, they could appeal it, but we're the appealing board that they appeal
Right.
to, so that's, it's minor, but it's
Where are we at on the fines? Have you computed?
we're close to, we're over 7,000 now.
Has anything been collected? Just, no.
No,
So
and
it's-
again.
So they're
that's-
letting it build up then.
Right.
Is there any chance that we could collect any of it?
We can request they pay it, but
Even like a portion of it?
we can send that out and request it, but there's, until
Yeah.
they exhaust all of their time frame and appeal period,
Okay.
and then that's the point where we can send it off to the select board to request town council to take
Or
action.
lien or
Either a
something,
lien
yeah.
or civil, or,
Which, would that
Legal
be
action.
next meeting?
which, that would theoretically be the next meeting.
So
That you,
I would be thinking, this is my opinion on how the board thinks, next meeting, whether this is taken care of or not, that we move in the process of putting the lien on the property at the next meeting.
Can you do that
let me check.
prior to the appeal process, or that's what I'm
Right.
wondering whether you can.
Right, I mean, they also have an appeal process, number of days that they're allowed to appeal your decision.
Well, okay, well, at the next meeting, we should say, okay,
No,
we're in the
that-
process of gonna be doing it.
Right.
Let the appeal go, but it's gonna be in the process of happening
Unless he pays.
unless he starts somewhat of a fine payment or doesn't do anything at all. I mean, this will happen.
Right,
At the next meeting, the process will happen.
yeah.
Because I want to see it, something going on.
Right.
And I don't know how you guys feel, but this is, I understand it's got to be, now it's got to be the abutters, everything's got to be,
Right, the certified abutter
Proof
list has
of
to go out to.
everything. But it's getting to the point where it's, okay, the proof's going to happen. Let's start with pushing the process of
Yeah. just
what we can do
Check with the
and find out.
town attorney or whatever we have to do to.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if we gotta wait for obviously we have to wait for the appeals time period, but I mean, in that process, it can,
Unless
you
he,
could just say
unless
it's gonna happen.
unless he pays it, so.
But even still, I mean, something's still gotta be done. He can pay whatever, but if nothing's being done,
Right, right.
it's gotta be,
That would be
it's
the
gotta be
next
pushing
step.
it, yes.
That'd be the next
And I
step.
mean, I will say good faith effort. He did, if you got it on the 25th, he came in on Monday, which is what, the 3rd,
Okay,
to file for the 4th, 3rd, to get the abutters list.
okay.
So I mean,
He's aware of the fines.
He's aware of it, and he's,
Okay.
right, obviously, he signed for it, he got the letter, he's looking to
And I know I know
get
it's,
this as soon as he can.
I know it's probably been said in the past, but is there any way we can get anybody in here to represent them? Like the engineer or even Lowski or any of them,
We,
or Youngquist or anybody, just to come in and just say, hey, face to face,
I've
that's
asked.
what's going on.
I've asked.
No, I understand, but
I
they
mean,
just don't,
until,
because they haven't
the
come here
public-
yet
right.
whatsoever
Still
since
the
this whole
public-
process.
Weren't they supposed to be here, someone this?
Yeah, I
for
thought
this
they were
meeting?
supposed to be here
right,
this meeting.
I asked them to request that they come
Here.
discuss the
Yeah, they didn't.
situation.
So nobody showed up tonight, and
Yeah.
nobody has showed up since this whole process has been going.
But
Come and talk.
we'll keep it moving forward.
No, I understand, but
Yeah.
just the whole process, nobody's come and talked to us at all.
I know,
Yeah.
doesn't look good, yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
I agree, and I think they want to get a filing in and get that.
Which they should,
I mean, it's
which
been a
they
long
should have done
process to get here.
a long time ago. So I mean, that's what I'm thinking of next meeting. So that's, you guys can think about that. But I'm gonna entertain a motion next meeting for that. So,
Yeah, that's fine.
so what did you want us to vote on?
I would like you to entertain a motion to
For the,
start a peer review
okay,
Oh,
as
right
soon as the
now.
application
All right.
arrives.
I'll entertain a motion to allow the agent to start a peer review when the application arrives.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And so we just have to sign some
And
documents.
there's a couple things to sign.
It's- What the heck it is.
What is
Steve.
that?
Steve signing something.
Surety return.
I have to admit that surety return that was instituted for projects going forward
Yeah,
seems to working to get the certificate of compliances done.
excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
Ties up the money.
Yeah. Something's gotta,
I mean, this
Mo-
one
mo-
was,
something's
this
gotta
this
motivate
wasn't
them.
been done in the same year.
yeah,
I mean-
something's gotta motivate him to get him going. Right? All right. Anything else? Oh, just a note for 506 West Center Street?
Yes, that's continued till the 19th.
Okay, that's just a note.
We'll see it.
And anything you gotta say, Steve, or anything like that?
No, I have nothing.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Have a good night.
Nice to see you.